What's up, Doc? Welcome to the Docs Get Money podcast. Are you a badass doctor killing it professionally and has bigger dreams than just clocking in and out of the hospital? Do you want to leave behind a legacy that is as lit as an HBCU homecoming? Want to know how other doctors are getting to the big bag? That's right, making 5, 6, and 7 figures without putting on the white coat? If you answered yes to any of these questions, then you're in the right place. I'm your host, Kimberly, but you can call me Kim or KB. I went from being a burnt out and overwhelmed emergency physician to the founder and CEO of 2 6-figure non-clinical companies and beating burnout along the way. I'm also your business coach, here to help you make money moves to change the world. This podcast isn't just about making money, though. It's about leveling up your life, mindset, and bank account so you can build an empire that's as iconic as Beyonce. You ready? Let's get into it. Hey, Doc. Burned out? Ready to just burn the whole hospital down? Well, let's start a fire. Okay, no, not in the hospital, but in your bank account. And from Side Hustler to CEO, my signature one-on-one business coaching program, you'll transform your burnout into a fire and start your own profitable coaching, consulting, or midterm rental business and make clinical cash in 90 days or less. That's right, 4 or 5 figures in 90 days or less. This is only for doctors who are done being overworked and undervalued and need a way out of the hospital now. With your fire offer, you're not just dreaming about escaping clinical practice, you're building your own emergency exit. In 90 days, you could be your own boss, making bank, and actually enjoying your life again. So are you ready to swap those singed scrubs for CEO status? Then hit me up at Dr. Kimberly B on Instagram with the word burn, and let's turn that burnout into the bag.
Hey.
Welcome back to the Docs Get Money podcast. Hey, Doc, I hope you guys are doing well today. I'm back with another interview episode, and it is not with a physician today, but I would say she probably has a doctorate of visual storytelling, and I will get to that in just a little bit in
I
detail.
like it.
I have, do you like it? Okay, cool. I just want to say
I
that
love
you
that.
got you. Okay,
I
cool.
love that.
I have the wonderful Erica Simmons on my podcast today, and to me, she's a celebrity because I feel like all of the black doctors that are the cool girls on Instagram, she has somehow taken their picture at some point, so I had to actually get her for myself. How we met was we were connected. I think it was like 2019, and she did my very first ever, I think. No,
Wow.
not my very first ever, but one of the first brand shoots that I've ever done for Still MD, the book that
Mhm.
I co-wrote with Dr. Nina Loom, who's been on this podcast as well too. Um, and so I flew down from Memphis to Atlanta. We stayed in an Airbnb and made that Airbnb like our photo shoot
Like
place
I said.
at the same time. But we had just an amazing experience. And I told Erica, we did. We had a great time.
Good.
Her husband came as her assistant, and we
It was
just
so
vibed,
fun.
and it was incredible. And I told Erica, I'm going to be back. I'm coming back. And you know how most people's like, oh yeah, you were a great girl. I'm coming back. I was like, no, I'm coming back. So 2 years ago now, almost, because it'll be 2 years next summer. As I started business coaching,
Crazy.
as I started pivoting, who isn't time going by fast? I'm like, let's say time is flying
It's so
by.
fast.
I hit her up again. I'm like, Erica, what can we do? Like, I'm doing something brand new, do something different. And I was in Atlanta for kind of like a hybrid retreat intensive with my coach that I was working with at the time. And we made magic again. So I had to have Erica on the podcast because she has an incredible eye and incredible talent for bringing out the identity of
Mm.
the subject, whoever she's photographing. She has done some of her major brand partnerships. Don't This is not just because she's photographed me. Like, she's done TJ Maxx. She's done. Let me hold on. Let me scroll and look. She's done Clinique, Mary Kay, Amazon, Lincoln, Gerber. Like, she's not small potatoes. To have somebody that you just click with, and that's another black woman that is able to capture who you are on film, on camera, is really, really incredible. So I'm so excited to talk to her today. We're really going to be talking about, like I said, not just visual branding or visual storytelling, but really how to step into your identity as whatever you are. Of course, we're
Yeah.
physicians and doctors listening to this podcast, but more specifically, entrepreneurship and being an entrepreneur is an identity that we have to step into for ourselves. So I recommend for people that are transitioning to do something else to get a brand photo shoot to kind of help you to remind yourself of your new you. And of course, like I said, Erica is the bomb at that. I'm shamelessly plugging Erica right now. To fly down to her, or pay her rates for her to fly to you wherever you are, so that you can get some of this juicy goodness. But let me read her official bio. Okay, so Erica Simmons is a proud Georgia peach, born and raised in Columbus, Georgia, and now resides in Atlanta with her husband of almost 15 years, Torrance, and her two daughters, Charlie and Evie. She's a personal branding photographer with several entrepreneurs. Shot for major brands like Home Depot, Pampers, Pottery Barn, TJ Maxx, and Lincoln. Has shot countless physicians, influencers, small businesses, and more. Her work is more recently featured on the cover of Impact Atlanta International Magazine and has had several other publications under her belt. When she's not shooting, she's serving as the vice president of the PTA. She loves singing at church, baking, spending time with her family, friends, and eating tacos, which is another reason why Erica's my girl, because I'm a taco girl. Coining herself as a visual storytelling strategist, Erica loves capturing beautiful and vivacious imagery that tells a unique story. Erica Simmons, welcome to
Hey
the Doctor of Money
y'all.
podcast.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. KB. And for you guys, hey, I call her Dr. KB. That was the nickname I believe that my husband gave you when we first met
Yes,
you.
he did.
And he just fell in love with you and Dr. Nina. So it's always been Dr. KB. So it's such a pleasure to be here. Such a pleasure to be here.
It is. It's so good to have you. And I really should say, because we were talking before we hit the record button, you're also a
Mhm.
serial entrepreneur. It's like you not don't just do this, but you and your husband just recently acquired another business. Do you want to tell us about that?
Sure, sure. We just acquired a new moving company. So it's called Husbands Pack and Move. We kept the same name. So it was pretty much just a transfer of ownership. It came with, we just bought the business outright, and it came with trucks and employees and an office and all of that. So that has been a wild ride. Next month will be a year.
Wow.
But I mean, it's been such a blessing to our family. The girls are already in it. Charlie, she just swears this is going to be her desk over here. And she knows her stuff is ass. She's like, she knows how to get the boxes and stuff. Evie, she just run around and just being three. But I mean, she loves it. Every time they're like, "Oh, where's Dad? Oh, he's at the shop." Oh, okay. Like they know the jargon. So it's really great. It's been such a blessing. So, yeah, we've had that for a year. I've been in business for myself for about 10 years now.
Hmm.
So yeah, it's just been definitely a serial entrepreneur.
Yeah,
Definitely
definitely.
that.
That's so cool. So I guess
Yeah.
let's start with that. Let's start with your, how did you even get into photography? Before we hit the big tackling questions about
Yeah.
identity and things like that, tell me how
Yeah.
you picked up your first camera and started shooting photos.
My first, when I first picked up the camera, it was for Torrance's, one of his best friends' sister was getting married. Small town, it wasn't like a huge elaborate wedding like that. And so I was like, he's like, he knew I like to take pictures, and was interested in that, and he was gonna pay me. I was like, yeah, sure, okay.
Hmm.
And so a wedding was my first was my first time like for real clicking. And it was terrible. It was awful. I think I had like over 3,000 photos for no reason. And so it was terrible. But yeah, I kept at it. She loved them, I was like, okay, girl. And and so, just kind of kept at it, but it wasn't like what I wasn't trying to be a photographer. Like I didn't set out. I actually was in school at the time too. I wanted to be like a service merchandising director. Like I wanted to work for like Pottery Barn or when Pier One was around.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Yeah, like I wanted to be the person responsible for like the window displays, the store, the layout of the store.
Okay.
But like I wanted to make those plans and send them out to the district because I'm running all you know what I mean? So
Hmm.
that was what I wanted to do. But photography, it just kept calling my name. I started shooting with my best friend, Maddie James. And she was like, hey, girl, my photographer, because I was living in Macon at the time. And she was like, hey, girl, my photographer, she just left. We had just moved back up here. She's like, what do you think about, shooting with me for a little bit? I was like, yeah, sure. And it literally just went from there. I never set out to have my own photography business, let
Hmm.
alone be known as a photographer. And people started when, seeing her photos, people wanted in, people wanted to start paying me, and it just literally just snowballed into that. And so here we are.
And I want to pause because it's so
Yeah.
interesting that you said that the Maddie James, I believe that's her
Yeah.
name on
The Maddie
Instagram,
James.
is
Yeah.
the Maddie James, has been one of the, I'd say, staple Black women influencers in the game for so long.
Yeah.
I did not even know that you shot for her until like I had already hired you. But at the same
Hmm.
time, it's just like her when you go on her feed, when you go and look at anything that she's ever produced, it's these clean, very natural, beautiful photos that she's able
Hmm.
to take for her brand partnerships. And
Hmm.
so when I was going out to be like, well, I don't know what to do, and Instagram was just kind of just now being a thing, and people were just trying to find
Hmm.
their way on
Hmm.
that,
Hmm.
she has
Hmm.
been a consistent voice of, motherhood, just sharing her journey, just sharing her lifestyle, all
Yeah.
of that. And so to know that you are a part of her telling her story of, her business, her life, her journey is absolutely incredible. So I just had to shout her. I don't know the girl. I'm not trying to say
Oh
that I do.
man.
But
Oh
it's
no,
I
she's
do know that she has been, like I said, for years in this industry
hmm
influencing, and so
hmm
many of Black and brown women follow her to see what
she's
she's
definitely an
wearing,
OG.
see what she's giving her
Yeah.
kids, like
Yep.
just to be
Yep.
her, just to live her, just watching her live her life. So
She is literally the OG. Like she to me, she's an Atlanta OG, and she is one of the most authentic people that I have ever met. What you see on Instagram is literally what it is when she turns the camera off. She's
mm,
hilarious. She's beautiful. She's smart. Again, hilarious. Like, I mean, we cackle nonstop. I don't know how our husbands put up with us. But she's truly she's one of one, seriously. So yeah,
I
shout
love
out to
that.
my boo.
I love
She's
that. So
great.
accidentally just kind of stumbled into photography.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
so, and then again, like you said, you just started working with her consistently, and now
Hmm.
your business has just blown up and exploded.
Hmm.
Um,
Hmm.
who is like, do you have a favorite type of person to work with or a type of business to work with?
Um, I have really well. I tend to shoot black women, black professional women,
Hmm.
more so than anything else. I've done families, like I love little families, like that's always fun, just something to kind of break away from like branding. But I absolutely love shooting physicians. You guys are just great. And shout out to Dr. Powell, Lauren Powell, the culinary doctor. So she was one of the first ones. She found me from Maddie James,
Mm.
and she was like, "Hey, I want to do, so and so." We met at this Mexican restaurant by Piedmont Hospital downtown, And I was so nervous to meet her. I was so nervous to meet her.
Why?
I don't know. I guess because, it was like, oh, one, she was a doctor. And
Okay.
so you just have this pretense. I have anyway. Like I just have the utmost respect for physicians. And so I'm just like, I don't know how she's gonna be and this and that. She was the most chill, laid back, hey, this is what I want. And like we've literally just grown this relationship. I've shot her probably like 4 to 5 times,
Hmm.
for from us meeting each other. I absolutely love. I've been shooting a lot of executives here lately,
Hmm.
and that's been really great. The one who's featured on the magazine, her name is Jackie, and she works for Salesforce. She's in the C-suite for Salesforce.
Ooh, okay.
And then I just shot another exec from Salesforce, and so just the word of mouth of Black women is just chef's kiss. It's
It
just
really is.
fantastic. But yeah, I tend to gravitate toward Black women. I've shot men before, but it's just something about being able to have that connection with Black women as a Black female.
Yeah.
It's just is top notch. So yeah,
Absolutely. No, that's so incredible. And I think,
yeah.
and I guess one thing I will ask you, because that's my, as a physician, of course, that's one of the hesitations that I think that I have about even sharing with people at times that aren't physicians. Like people ask all the time, "Oh, what do you do for a living?" And I try
Hmm.
every which way from Sunday to say I'm a doctor without actually saying that. Like I say, "Oh, I fight Darwinism," or um I don't know, I work in the hospital, or and let you
Okay.
assume. But I guess I'm saying all that to say the physicians that you have shot, what has been your biggest takeaway? And do they have trouble, I guess, really emoting and really becoming themselves on camera because of this identity that they hold of being the doctor and I have to
Mm.
shoot a certain
I
way,
have to,
pose like
right,
this? Yeah.
right. You know what? I can honestly say no. They, the women, the physicians that I have shot, I feel like a lot of them are trying to kind of break away
Hmm.
from that that stuffiness, or um, it's like they still, the respect is still there, of course, but I just feel like they just want, when they come to me, they already want to be or find their identity outside of being a doctor. So a
Hmm.
lot of them have already come in with this attitude, okay, I'm ready, or, and, before we shoot, we have these calls. I love to be able to talk with my clients to be like, hey, tell me about you, tell me what we're going for. What are these shots going to be for? And so they already come with this air of confidence of like,
Hmm.
hey, I don't want to be boxed in as just the doctor, and people, and they use their medicine, but for other things,
Yeah.
for what they want to do. So yeah, I think that that's pretty incredible. Most of them have already come to me with their identity in mind. They just need my help getting it out visually.
I agree, and I think I guess I agree because of that's how I stepped into meeting you. Of course, like yes, I had brand photo shoots before, but that was local to me in Memphis.
Yeah.
And I got advice from a physician business coach that I was working with at the time that any new pictures that I should get, it should be more lifestyle and not the same strict, just like kind of headshots, posing, things like that. So I have
Hmm.
been comfortable ish
Yeah.
with not being necessarily Dr. Kim. I mean, I still wore my scrubs and things like that as well too.
Hmm.
Um, but it's so interesting that they said that you said that you find that most physicians come to you when they're looking to step out and step away from and kind of shift out of that identity as a doctor. That's really interesting, and I think that's really good. And of course, like that's part of the reason why I worked with you the second time, because I
Hmm.
was like, no, I need to go bigger. Like just
Yeah.
still playing. I feel like I was still playing small a little bit, but still like stepping out a little bit more into. Now we're gonna leave this doctor stuff aside. Like
Yeah.
put it down just a little bit more. Um, so other than kind of like of course me, Nina, Dr.
Hmm.
Lauren, what
Hmm.
are some of the other things that the physicians that you have been working with, what were they pivoting into?
Usually, like, either things for themselves. I shot this one doctor. She was a surgeon, and she had just had it. She was fed up with the politics of healthcare in the hospital with the with the execs, whoever,
Mhm.
because she was pretty renowned, and she had just had it, and so she completely pivoted and created her own skincare line. Yeah, I mean it's just they want to do everybody just wants to do certain different things. Dr. Lauren, she's still practicing, of course, but she also had like she really wants to focus heavily on healing people with food. She's a big proponent in that. And Let me see, some people either they just want to kind of revamp their business, like their business, their own practice, excuse me, their own practice. So they're
Mhm.
stepping away from the hospital and they've opened up their own practice. And it's like, yeah, I'm a doctor, yes, but I'm my own. Like, this is
Yeah.
mine. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? They're not confined to a box of what you have to do at the hospital or protocol or this and that. So yeah, I mean, people have definitely, I think the surgeon who flipped to do her own skincare line, I think that was the biggest like,
Mhm.
oh, I'm done. Homegirl was done.
Mhm.
Yeah, yeah. But
So
yeah, everybody does different things.
everything is a different thing. Yeah, you're right. My next question is, I guess let's start talking about identity because
Yeah.
again, we we come to lots of times photographers to capture moments of our lives, whether that is like our families getting started or a new business or things like that. But
Mhm.
how do you think the way you shoot helps to bring out someone's new identity? Like what is it about working with you maybe that brings that essence out?
Um, I think what people really like, or my method anyway, I like to approach the person, my client, as a person. And so, really getting to know them, not their title, not how many degrees they have or their accomplishments. It's like, I want to know who you are at your core. What are your values? What do you stand for? What do you stand against? And so, I think bringing that to the forefront is what makes me successful in the kind of images that I produce with people.
Hmm.
Because who wants to be confined to a box? And so, and with photography, which is, I'm blessed to be able to do it. That way, I encourage people to do exactly what they want to do. If you want to laugh with your mouth all the way wide open, if that's how you laugh for real, go for it. Like, why am I stopping you from that? You know what I
Right.
mean? Why am I stopping you from letting your hair down and dancing in your shoot? And, because more so, I'm not stuffy either. So it's like we just have, I'm very fun. I need music. I shoot with my feet and with my shoes off. I
Yes, you
love the
do.
bare feet. As you know, I will kick my shoes off ASAP. And it's just like I feel like if I'm my authentic self, that gives permission to my client to be their authentic selves, and you get this beautiful product at the end of it because you are your authentic self.
I love that. I
Yeah,
absolutely love
thanks.
that. Tell me, speaking of all of that, how you came up
Yeah,
with the visual storytelling strategist, because that's all about identity as well too. So how did you even come up with that as a
man. Back shout out to my girl Maddie again. She was just like, "Yo, you're more than a photographer." She's like, "E, you do." She's she was just like, you like tell story the way you tell stories and the way you're able to talk to people and to bring it out. Like my husband towards like call me Fox Five because I always ask the tough questions. He'd be like Fox Five. So because I'm just asking things that more, a lot of, I love coming away from calls where folks are like, oh, I never thought of that. Oh,
mm-hmm.
well, let me think about that. Like that's good because it's not the standard like, okay, what are we looking for? Okay, we need the headshot here, here. It's like
Yeah.
the boring stuff. It's like, no, let's get to the nitty. Let's get to it. And so, yeah, she did come up with it. And so we were literally just, I don't know, just brainstorming one day. And she's like, you're like a strategist, a storytelling strategist. And I was like, I love that. Let's do it. Let's go with that. I was like, visual storytelling strategist. And that is what, again, I believed myself to be because I was putting in the work to do that. And
Hmm.
so once I started presenting myself as that, you know what I mean? Like
Then
you
it
were
started
saying
to come
earlier,
true.
that's what
Yeah,
became, yeah, that's what it became. So
I
I'm
love
known as a
that.
visual storytelling strategist.
How has embracing that identity
Yeah.
both helped you and maybe where it's held you back in a way?
From coining myself as
Yes,
a
coining
storytelling
yourself as
strategist.
a visual storytelling strategist. Yeah.
How has that? Well, it's definitely helped me when I played the self doubt game. What is that? Where it's fake. I can't think of it.
Like imposter
Uh,
syndrome?
imposter syndrome.
Okay.
So anytime I start thinking, of that, and it's just like, well, no, Erica, you've actually done this, this, this. You got receipts for it, and you're able to produce these images because you were able to actually study what you're doing. Like you have to study your craft, and so learning how to be an effective storyteller. You got to learn.
Mhm.
Like I have a natural eye and a natural skill for it, yes, but it also helps to put some education behind that so that I can get better. So that's it. I don't know if it's held me back. I think it's always given me that extra in my
Boost.
chest, you know? Yeah, yeah. I think it's always given me that extra boost.
I love that. I guess when you first started to adopt it, do you feel like the imposter syndrome was like really kicking in? Like, oh my
Oh
God.
my gosh, yeah. Oh my gosh, yeah. Yeah, for sure. Um, and it still does. Look, I swear, sometimes it still happens, and I have to, especially, it really hit hard after I had Evie. So Evie's my second, she's three. And just getting back, figuring out who I was as a photographer, once I had Evie. So now it's like two kids. So adjusting to this whole new home life, that I've never had before Evie. Like I was doing two, sometimes three shoots a day. I
Hmm.
would have, yeah, you know what I mean? Like in three times a week with three shoots, like, I was moving in this way. And then all of a sudden I had to drop back because I had the baby. And just trying to figure out who I am now as a photographer. So sometimes, yeah, the imposter syndrome still comes in. It's like, no, girl, you got receipts. Wake yourself up, pull yourself up. You got receipts. And so, yeah, I think I'm sorry. Hopefully, we can cut this out because I'm like I forgot the question of where how
That's
I was
okay.
going.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, the it's not there as much anymore, but it still pops in from time to time. The imposter syndrome, it does.
I think it does for me as well too, and not even just. I'll speak with the identity, quote unquote, that I've held the longest, which is being a physician. I mean, I think there's so many things that come along our way that makes me challenge that or question that.
Mm,
And there's so many things in the healthcare space that makes us to challenge it. For example, like you
mm,
said,
mm-hmm,
you've dealt with several doctors that are like, okay, I'm sick of this. I'm pivoting. I'm starting my
mm-hmm,
own practice. I'm starting my own skincare line. But
mm-hmm.
there's so much in the house of medicine that makes us like question it, meaning we're held by metrics. We're held by these impossible standards sometimes, like door to dock time. Like it wants to be less than 30 minutes from the time the person hits the door in the
Wow,
ER to the time that you show up to them and
wow.
say, what are you here for? How can I help you? But that does not calculate so many other factors, like the fact that the emergency room is crowded, or I'm short a nurse so I don't have someone
Mm-hmm,
to room them, or they may be in the waiting room for 2 hours because of any other number of factors
mm-hmm,
that's
mm-hmm,
going on. And so when you get reports or you hear from your leadership, director, your C-suite, whatever, that, oh, you're not hitting these marks, therefore we're docking your pay, or we're not going to renew
mm-hmm.
your contract, or you're just not a good doctor, we don't think that you're a
Wow.
good doctor. That's constantly chipping away at
Yeah.
us. And so I feel it in that aspect, but then also in an entrepreneurial aspect as well too. We have goals and things like that that we have for our business. We do have metrics that we want to hit, like a number of
Mm-hmm,
sales or number of clients that we're working with, or how much money regularly that we want to make.
mm-hmm.
But when we don't hit those goals, I think more specifically as physicians, and you can talk about this as an entrepreneur as well too, then you start to say, well, am I really cut out for this? And well, why don't I
Mm-hmm.
just go back to what I know? And I'd rather deal with the devil that I do know than the devil that I don't know. So it's
Mm-hmm.
always kind of like an imposter syndrome, spiral staircase, things like that, especially when we meet failure in business
Mm-hmm.
as well too. So I can
Mm-hmm.
totally relate to you saying it still creeps up. I think it's natural for all of us, but especially as black women, because then you got the
Mm-hmm.
layer of society telling us
Yes.
you are what? You a visual storytelling strategist. You a
Right.
strategist? You mean you can think? Oh, you're a doctor and you're a business owner?
Right.
Who are you? Like, what
Right.
planet are you from? Because they don't expect us to be anything different. So
Mm-hmm.
sometimes we internalize those things. What are your thoughts
I
about
think
that?
I definitely can agree with that. When the with the imposter syndrome, hitting, back and forth quite often, especially like you were saying, when you don't hit the marks, when you don't hit goals, when you don't, and when you're just met with failure constantly. You know, you just have to. I just always go back to picking your hard because it's like, yeah, and pin in. It is so vital to have a support system.
Yes.
My husband will not let me give it up. Like, no matter how many times I bitch and moan about it and cry about it. And he's just like, "E, you're just too good to go to a 9 to 5." And then he's like, for what? And my man, he's a numbers guy too. So he's like, okay, let's look. So if you working here, this paycheck is this, blah, 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 and tax taken out, blah, blah, blah. He's like, meanwhile, you can make this because you're doing, like he just
Mm-hmm.
makes things so plain and in your face. And so I think it's just we have to, as Black women, because so much is put on us, whether it's by society, friends and family, they don't mean to,
Yeah.
but it's still there. The pressure is still there to always perform and always do that. Um, but if you just sit down, really know what you're doing, like you believe in what you're doing. I've always believed in what I was doing, even when it gets hard, but I still believe that it's a greater calling. Like I feel like, yeah, I'm taking photos, for these beautiful Black women or for these businesses, but I just feel like it's bigger than me. Like I feel
Mm-hmm.
like I'm also helping. I feel like I'm putting I don't know, like I'm helping out with the next business that's coming out to serve other people. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like I think
Yeah.
if we just take ourselves out of it,
Yeah.
you tend to find your way back to, you know what I mean?
Yes.
You just tend to find your way back to your calling and what you're truly meant to do with your whole heart.
I love that.
You just got to get out of the way.
Yeah.
Hmm.
That's funny that you said that. Not funny haha, but funny
Of
interesting.
course.
Because like I was telling you before we hit record, I was just on my mastermind and we were talking about stepping into the identity that we want to have
Hmm.
before we get the results that we want to get. So I have goals of being a multimillionaire. I've always
Hmm.
had goals
Hmm.
of that. And I have to believe that I'm that now and start being a multimillionaire now and doing the
Hmm.
habits, the actions of a multimillionaire before I have that. But I said that to say sometimes we do need a reminder of what we've done in the past to get us to this point and the reason why we're even doing it. It's not that I want to be a multimillionaire just to say that. It's because I
Hmm.
want to serve people in a greater way. I want to be able to live the life that I want to and my child to not have to struggle or suffer or worry
Hmm.
about
Hmm.
anything else in her life,
Hmm.
um, because I've been able to set up a foundation or set some things up for her so that she can not be so worried about different things. But it
Hmm.
also made me think of the years between that you and I were working with each other. When I started my midterm rental business, I had been telling myself like, "Oh, I'm not good at business. I should just stick to working in the hospital." I'm literally saying these things to myself as the business is
Hmm.
getting off the ground, and it was like, what was it? It was probably like September, and I was breaking up from a really crazy marriage at the time.
Hmm.
And I was at the time where I was opening up another rental, but it's like I was left high and dry. My husband at the time was my sole help, like as far as the
Hmm.
muscle of things. And so I remember sitting in my room and like crying about it, like how I have these goals, and yes, I can see that I'm getting there, but I'm like, I have no help. How am I going to do this? Who am I to even believe that
Hmm.
I am able to take this on? And what you were saying made me think about what I went through after that. I had to almost give myself a testimony service. It had nothing to do with successes in business per se, but I'm
Hmm.
like, I had to say to myself, Kim, aren't you the same girl that wanted to become a doctor, got failed the MCAT multiple times, never did well
Hmm.
on the MCAT, but got into the one medical school,
Hmm.
took
Hmm.
the opportunity to take it, to go there, and almost failed out, but didn't because you asked for the help
Hmm.
and you were able to get out, pass all of your exams,
Hmm.
match into your number one specialty, number one program, save all of these lives you've done. Like you have to like almost give yourself a testimony service, like old school church back in the day.
Like
Like
for real,
you
you
got to get up and
do.
testify. Like let me tell you what the Lord has done for me, but also what I
Yes,
have been able to do as well too.
exactly.
Not just putting it on a higher power, because a higher power is always working through us.
Hmm.
So I love the fact that you touched on having to run the evidence bank back, having your husband help you. Okay, we could do this, and let me show you
Hmm.
what this would look like, or you could do this
Hmm.
because you've got
Hmm.
proof that this will work as well too. And so sometimes it's good to have your reflection, a friend, a business partner, a spouse
Hmm.
to do that for you as well.
It is, and not, I recognize that not everybody, is afforded that. Not everybody has a bomb support system, or there are folks who are doing it by themselves, like literally having to learn every single thing to be able to, get the business off the ground. And so with when people don't, I'm like, okay, find yourself a mentor. Find, a lot of things I learned from University of YouTube University. You know what I mean? Like you just have to get out there. There's so many countless free resources, to that you can refer to. So when you don't have that, that kind of support system, you have to rely solely on you. Myself, I do believe in God, and channeling Him and listening to what he has for me and what I'm supposed to be doing.
Right.
And so it gets hard. It gets hard. It's hard being an entrepreneur. I will not even lie about it. I'm not here to fake it with nobody. But again, it's just kind of like, pick your hard, because it's hard working for someone. It's also hard working for yourself, because I have to make sure that I am posting, or, putting myself out there. I have to make sure that I'm scheduling. I have to make sure that my numbers are right. I have to make sure, you know what I mean? So it's hard. It's hard, but it's definitely it's so doable. And my main why, which is another reason why I have to just keep remembering why I'm here, what I'm doing. One, like I said, is outside of me. Two, I'm here for my time, my freedom, being with my girls at any given moment. I'm sorry, what I be doing on the PTA, I wouldn't have been able to do that. I
Right.
wouldn't have been able to go back to my daughter's school. I won't be able to go with Evie to the park, take her to the park at 12 o'clock, at
Yeah.
1 o'clock. You know what I'm saying? Just being here, or being here when I have to go get Charlie, or being here when Torrance is home with her. That's important to me. My mom, God, I just absolutely adore that woman. But she was a single parent
Yeah.
trying to raise two kids the best that she could. My mom held down three jobs minimum, Kim,
Yep.
minimum.
Same. Yeah.
And so and she tried, and my father, even though they were divorced, my dad, he was still very much around, but he wasn't in the house. You know what I'm saying? And so I just always wanted to make sure that I was there. Whatever I did, I want to make sure that my girls always know that I'm there for them no matter what. And so me being able to work for myself affords me that.
Yeah.
So that's definitely one of my biggest whys is my
Yeah.
freedom. Hmm.
And honestly, and you said it perfectly, but that we need to learn how to let our why drive us. You know what I'm saying? Like at the same
Yeah.
time, yeah, we can choose our hard, but at the same time, if we also stick to our why, it doesn't have to feel as hard. If you know
Hmm.
you want to start your own business so that you can be the one that takes your daughter or your children to school every day and pick them up, and you don't have to worry about the school bus and whatever else is going on at the
Hmm.
school to do that, then that's why you should do it. If you want to be an entrepreneur so that you can homeschool your kids, you should do, like, that's a legitimate enough reason, and let the passion and the desire that that can happen for you
Hmm.
drive
Hmm.
you, and not just looking at, I love the fact that you said choose your hard, but then it doesn't have to be as hard if you are
Hmm.
really deeply connected to why you are doing that. And I
I
love the
absolutely
fact
agree.
that you said so that you can be with your daughter, so that you can be with your husband, so that you can have a schedule where nobody's telling you what to do.
I
um
mean, but on the flip, on the flip, Dr. Brown, you have to also, you got to be super disciplined.
you do.
When
You do.
I told Betty the other day, and I was like, "Girl, do I have a business or not? Like, I'm just out here. I'm acting out here, just having drinks, still celebrating
Yep.
birthday. I'm like, it's the whole month of March. We celebrating, but it's like, girl, you got these galleries though. Folks paid you. Like,
Right.
pull it together. So you do, like, it can be, you just have to be super, super disciplined as well to be able to be an entrepreneur.
That's true. No, that's so true. How do you manage your time? Because that's the biggest thing that
Mm,
people come to me with when they start to work with me, is it's like, well, I don't have enough time, or I don't know
hmm.
how to manage my time. So how do you manage your time? Like, what things do you use to try to keep yourself on track? And I know nobody's perfect, because neither am I. So,
Girl, correct. And I promise you, me neither. Google Calendar is the homie. Like me, everything. If it doesn't go on my calendar, it can't happen, or it doesn't happen. I'll say it can, but usually it doesn't, just because my mind is like on a bajillion other different
yes.
things and stuff.
Yeah.
Google Calendar is very helpful for me. We have the family calendar because Torrance, he got his own stuff going on too. So you have two entrepreneurs trying to make each other's schedule fit. With kids, and then like I said with Charlie, homegirl is she has her own schedule too. So Google Calendar definitely helps out. I'm also pretty old school. I love just the pen to paper. So
Hmm.
I do have a planner that I like to use just to kind of jot some things down. But time management. I try to wake up early. I won't say it's successful every time because that snooze button. I be trying not to make it my home girl, but
She's been my
sometimes,
homegirl my the vast
whew,
majority of my life. So
sometimes because girl, I am tired from girl. By the time Evie opens her eyes, she is on 22 until she goes to sleep. So I'm tired again. But I always feel my day is different when I'm able to have at least an hour to myself. So sometimes that looks like waking up at 5 a.m. And coming down to the basement, I have my coffee going, and go ahead and do my work, get my devotional in first, and then start
mhm.
doing my work. But and then even if I don't have any work to do, sometimes I just want to sit and with my coffee and
Yeah.
be in peace, in the quiet. Nobody's disturbing. Nobody's asking me for things, husband included. It's just like I can have time to myself. I feel like that also gives me a clearer mind throughout the day.
Hmm.
So that helps with time management as well. But like I said, mostly Google calendars, and I'm quick to set those. Um, the Google Calendar is really really helpful for me. I will hit up all the alerts,
Yeah, me
like
too.
yeah, notify me. 30 minutes later, 2 days before, a week before, just so I don't forget anything. But yeah, time management, and it fluctuates too because so much, it just, it's unpredictable with kids sometimes. And with this moving company,
Yeah.
sometimes Torrance has to, sometimes he has to work because when a guy gets sick or there's not
Mhm.
enough manpower, whatever. So you just kind of have to always, you kind of go with the flow too.
I
But
love that.
a Google
I think,
Calendar, my planner.
yeah, no, I was gonna say it sounds like you and me do the same things or similar things. Like I said, if it's not on the Google Calendar, oh, it's not happening. Or
No
it will be
shade.
difficult to happen. But I also give myself some flexibility to move things around. Like yesterday, my fiance needed to go to the dentist and he was getting sedation, and I just had to move my entire calendar around, which is honestly a blessing of being an entrepreneur, been
Hmm.
more full time an entrepreneur. I've not gone back to practicing medicine in a few months, but it's just like that's a
Hmm.
it's like okay, I can easily clear my day. If I was at work, it's like I'm sorry, honey, I don't know who's going to be there for you, or it would have to
Hmm.
be around my schedule. And so that's really, really, really big. But I also love what you said too, and I don't want to glaze over this, is that you make
Yeah.
the time to pour into yourself first
Mm. Yeah.
during the day. How has that changed your life, Erica? Like where you are able to, and like you said, you don't do it all the time, but just get up a little bit earlier, do all the things that you need to do first, and then you're able to jump in the day.
Tremendously. It truly has. I like to either before bed or if I know I'm going to wake up early, I can go ahead and just write my to-do list down for the day. And that to-do list consists of no more than three things.
Hmm.
No more. No more. I cannot. I'm not about to put that kind of stress on myself for what. So again, it'll get done. And so usually I try to have um, like on Sunday evening, got the girls down. I'm relaxing. Torrance, he's doing whatever, or we're just chilling. But I'll write down my like to do list of what needs to be done, and so then I'll pick you know, those two or three things from that
Hmm.
list to be like, okay, I can get this on Monday. Looking at what I got going on, whether I'm shooting, whether it's something that needs to be done at the office with the moving company,
Hmm.
PTA thing, whatever. So I'm plugging in where I can around the schedule, but I'm not about to put more than three things on the list every day
Yeah.
to do it because that's just too much.
Yeah.
Life is already overwhelming enough
Right.
as it
Why would I
is.
overwhelm my to-do list?
Right, right,
Yeah.
right. So no, it's definitely helped. I can see a difference. I'm way more like I mean, I have a great relationship with my kids, but it's just like I feel like I can pour into them even more. I can pour into Torrance even more because I'm at my best self. I'm calm, I'm collected, I'm put together. And so yeah, that self-reflection time, that time with the Lord is so critical. That Lord help me out. That time is critical. But it does. I implore anybody to find even 30 minutes of just
Hmm.
alone time, whether you're reflecting on what you want to do for the day, how you're feeling in that moment. Um, who was it? My friend Libria Jones. I was traveling with her to Florida, what the top of the year, travel with her because she was speaking. She asked me to come and take some photos. I was like, of course. And so she put me on three things that you say to yourself, no, that you're thankful for
Hmm.
at night, and it's three things in the morning that you like about yourself. So,
Hmm.
three things in the morning, what you like about yourself, and the three things before you go to bed, what you're thankful for. And homegirl, like even when I was there, we were in the hotel room, she would have her 15 minutes of doing just that.
Hmm.
She was meditating or stretching or doing whatever, but I just thought it was just so dope that even though she had company, even though, we were outside, she was outside of her home, we were traveling, she still made herself a priority. I was like, girl, I'm sold.
Yeah.
I'm sold. You know what I mean? And she is the most put together, non put together person I've ever met, and I just absolutely adore her. I adore her because she keeps it so real.
I love that. No, I love that. we forget about ourselves. And I think, again, Black women, doctors,
Hmm.
physicians, anybody in a service industry per se, even like I said, photographers, movers, things like that, any type of person that is not just selling a product, but selling our a service that we give, we put ourselves on the back burner all of the time because it's just so easy because oh, I have to worry
Yeah.
about this person and this person, this
Hmm.
person, but it's like
Hmm.
we're not filling up our cup
Hmm.
first. And
Hmm.
so I love that you said that it didn't matter like that y'all were there, y'all were looking at her. She didn't care. She was like, "No, I need to pour into myself. I need to move my body. I need to talk to
Yeah. Yeah.
myself before I kind of continue to deal with you all." I think that's so important. I think that's one of the things that we don't do enough of, and we always that's the we're the first person to put ourselves up for sacrifice. You know what I'm
Oh my
saying?
gosh. Yes. We just have this sacrificial complex or die on the stake for the sake of everybody else. It's like, girl, no.
No.
I I Well, one, I'm like I said, I'm a Georgia peach, and I just also feel like as Southern women, we were taught in a sense, our my mom, she didn't teach me to be like subservient or to, to be meek and mild, but there's a certain kind of air that you have to have as a Southern woman, I think,
Hmm.
and politeness is right up there, and you will use your manners, you don't offend anybody, you
Yeah.
don't, you make sure to be humble and to, all of that. And, even at 40, fresh 40, I'm unlearning that still, Um, in my post, in my birthday post that I made, I was like, man, this turning 40 just gave me like a new like confidence about myself. But I'm definitely a giver. I'm
Hmm.
so quick to give and slow to take. But I was like, I want to change that. I want to be quick to give and quick to take.
Hmm.
And it's okay to be quick to take. It's okay. I'm trying to teach my girls that, even in this young age, like it's okay to take that compliment without deflecting. It is okay to say, yes, you need help. I need help, and not be embarrassed about it.
Right.
Or, hey, this is what I want. This is what I need, and I don't want to backtrack it because, oh wait, are you sure? Like,
Yeah.
and Torrance, he can't stand when I do that because he's like, boo, I said what I said, and I'm telling you, it's fine. He's like, be sure in it, be sure in it. And so I was like, yeah. And he's like, over dinner, he said, the only one that you have to humble yourself before is God. I
Hmm.
said, whew, message received. Message
Yeah.
received.
That's the
So
message
yeah,
right there. Yeah.
I was like, boo, that's a t-shirt. So
She gonna have it for
yeah,
sale up in a couple weeks, y'all.
don't
Don't
y'all
worry
worry
about
about
it.
it. Don't worry about it. Yeah, no, we just can't keep putting ourselves like what this martyr complex for what?
Hmm.
And that's what society puts on us too. We're
Yeah.
tired of saving people
Yeah.
and not saving me. You know what I
Right.
mean? And I can't be sorry for wanting to save me too.
Yeah.
You
Absolutely.
know.
That's so good.
Hmm.
One of my last questions, I think, are, and I think we've already been kind of just rapping about this just in general, but what else has entrepreneurship has taught you? Because of course you stumbled into it, like you
Hmm.
thought you were going to be this brand designer or strategist for like Pier One and doing all these
Hmm.
beautiful things, and you're doing that. You're still doing that work, but you're working for yourself, and now you
Yeah.
have this new moving company that you're doing with your husband. But what are some of the things that entrepreneurship has taught you in the
Yeah.
10 plus years now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And even saying that, I'm like, wow, for real? And it's like,
It's
yeah.
like you that girl. That's how you know.
I would take it. Um, Man, what is it? I think the top takeaway is that I can do it.
Hmm.
I can do it. Being an entrepreneur has taught me that I can do hard things.
Hmm.
I can be disciplined. I can, I can, I can believe in myself. I can't. Like it's given me this sense of purpose and this sense of self confidence, even though it wavers from time to time.
Yeah.
But I bought I put the down payment on our house our new home that we've been in for what 3 years now. Evie's three. Um, and so it's like, girl, you can do it. One of my biggest gripes with myself was that I didn't finish things. I always beat myself up for not finishing things, you know. Um, but here in this space, it's just giving me like, girl, you can do it.
Hmm.
You can do it. It's just it takes discipline. It takes time. You know, you have to be able to get good with your time management, but also it's not even necessarily pressure, but just knowing that people are depending on you,
Yeah.
you know, to make things happen. It also kind of kind of lights a
Yeah.
fire under your ass a little bit. Um, and you know, Charlie and Evie's watching. You know,
Yeah.
Charlie, she knows what I do. I've been doing this. You know, well, shoot. Now that I'm saying that, Kim, because she'll be 10. She'll be 10 in May. And so I was shooting before Charlie.
Oh wow.
Damn. So, dang. All right. So,
You were OG in these streets.
I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, wow. But, you know, again, I got receipts. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? I got receipts. And so, yeah, I think the biggest thing that I 10 toes down is it show me that I can do it. You
Yeah.
just have to choose. You got to choose.
Yeah.
Like with
Choose
your
your heart.
marriage, you got to choose your heart. With my marriage, I choose Torrance. Like we choose each
Yeah.
other every day. Marriage is, it's, you know, it can be messy. I love our marriage. I think it's great. That's my homie, you know.
Hmm.
Um, but you just have to choose. We choose to each other. We choose this life every single day. And so I choose my business every day. I choose myself every day. I choose my family every day. And entrepreneurship has afforded me the blessing to do that.
I love that. That's so good.
Thanks. Yeah,
That's so good.
thanks.
And hearing you talk about your daughters and me being as big and pregnant as I am now, big old pregnant. Anyways, I won't tell you what I told my fiance last night. I was like, my belly looks like a marshmallow. He's like, no, it doesn't. Well, kinda, but no, it doesn't. Like,
What
okay,
kind of? That's
kinda.
so funny. That's so funny.
But I said that to say, I'm looking forward to a new why for myself. Like for me, it's just
Hmm.
been for the longest time because I've been a very independent person. Is because this is what I just want to do. Like this is just who I see myself being. But now to have a different reason to work, and I think
Yeah.
partially it's been legacy for me. Like oh, my family. Like, but that was like
Yeah.
such an abstract idea for so
Yeah.
long.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to going harder because I have this little human that looks like me that has my DNA that I have to like do this for. So it'll be like a more tangible why. So to hear
Yeah.
you talking about your daughters and like you're saying like showing them that you can do it. Like you don't have to, do anything, but so that you can spend more time with them. That's making me just like I said, want to even just go even harder and go just
Yeah.
risk a little bit more just because I have a more tangible why or will have a more tangible why in front of me.
You
So
know, things are so different. Like my mom, you talking about a workhorse, like that is the one of the top things above, you know, I mean not above, but before with God, loving God first, that's always. Um, but mom, she instilled work ethic in me and my sister, like I mean, with no problem. So I've never had a problem with work. You know, it's just being able to teach Charlie work ethic just in a different way because
mm,
things were sacrificed, you know, on my mom's end because she had to, you know, work 3 jobs to support you know, this and that. I just like being able to show Charlie that there's another way of life. Things
yeah,
are different, you know what I mean? And so you pretty much chart your way. You know, you
yeah,
can pick you it's for you. It's at the picking. You know, the pickings are abundant. So it's just like, you know, pick what you want to do and how you want to do it and what it looks like for you.
yeah,
You know, I think that that's what's been the most rewarding experience here is just being able to show Charlie, like, yeah, girl, she's seen me. She's told me good night, and I'm down here in the basement all day long,
Mm-hmm.
either editing, doing my batch work for for marketing or whatever, or emails, getting emails out and this and that. So she sees me working hard, but she sees me working it my way.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And so,
Yeah.
like, that's what I want her to do. It's like, girl, I want you to work hard, but I want you to work your way. I want you to work for yourself and how you want to work. So,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I think your baby girl is just she's gonna see you. You're gonna give her the biggest, she's just the best life. I'm so excited for you.
Oh,
I'm so excited for you. I cannot wait to meet her and spoil her rotten.
please do.
Uh, she's just gonna be so loved. But yeah, but she has a phenomenal mother. She has a
Thank,
phenomenal mother. And I'm already calling you that, even though she's not born
thank
yet.
you.
But that life is in you. So you're gonna be wonderful. You're gonna be great. Like I said,
Thank
you'll
you.
find your way. Do exactly what it is that is best for you and your baby,
Yeah.
and everything else will be good.
Thank you.
Yeah,
That
of
means a lot. It
course,
really does.
of
Um,
course.
a, one question that came to me before I
Yeah.
ask my final question is,
I can talk to you all day.
I know, right? Well, I said we could literally just be on the phone just talking. I forgot we was recording a
Yeah.
podcast for a minute. Is storytelling is when you said marketing, that's what made me think about storytelling again.
Uh-huh.
Storytelling is one of the biggest ways that you can convert people to just being kind of just like followers or just lookers on your page to actually customers.
Mhm.
So, what do you find to be the most important things about storytelling visually,
Mhm.
or otherwise, of course, in written form or what have you? Or how do you use storytelling, not just in your visuals, but maybe in other parts of your businesses at this point?
Let me just see this. Well, because because my story is so unique to me.
Hmm.
I think showcasing that and putting that in the forefront. I think that's what it's the authenticity factor
Hmm.
that makes storytelling so strong. There are what over 8 billion people in the world, and every single one of us have a different story to tell. And so if you just find, just because, I mean, how many black female photographers are in Atlanta? You know what I'm saying? But we all don't have the same story at all.
Right.
Our shooting
Right.
styles are different, our personalities are different, you know what I mean? So the same thing with the clients that I've shot. I've shot, numerous physicians, but you all are different in every way. You know what I mean? And so being able to I think that's why it's important to really talk and get to know who I'm shooting, the
Hmm.
person, and not the title or not the,
Yeah.
the occupation, but who I'm shooting. That makes it easier for your story to come out because I'm able to pinpoint certain things. You know what I mean? Like take out different facets of who you are and to put it, visually. That's what makes for strong storytelling
Hmm.
is to really really channel that authenticity, and it doesn't matter that there's another physician to your left and to your right. It doesn't
Right.
matter, they're not you.
Right.
So yeah, I think that that's just being your authentic self and being vulnerable. I think that's really important too. I think that's something that also that I encourage in black women or the clients that I shoot. It's all right to be vulnerable with me. It's all right to tell me. I love hearing your story. I love hearing, what you've been through or what you're going through, whether it be a happy time or a sad time or, the trauma, your trauma, what's happening. Tell me so that I can know, you know what I mean? I feel like when you get really deep down into knowing and learning the person, it's just inevitable that it comes out. It's
Yeah.
inevitable that their story, their personal story comes out.
Hmm.
Hmm.
I think that's the biggest thing that I feel that I see people struggling with, and my clients struggling with, I've struggled with, I'm sure you've struggled with, in various levels and different points, is that vulnerability
Yeah.
piece, because that comes, I think, for doctors more specifically. Like you said, when you met Lauren for the first time, you just like you didn't know how she was gonna be. Like you just,
Hmm.
but we have a hard time showing our true selves and telling what we've been through sometimes because the world expects us to have it all together, because at the end of the day, you a doctor, right? You had people go
Hmm.
had all these titles and letters after your name. You should know, shouldn't you? But it's very hard for us to be vulnerable. And I think storytelling in a way is a way to be vulnerable without having to expose everything about
Right.
yourself.
Right. I mean, you don't have to tell me your deepest, darkest secrets. That is reserved for the best friend. But
Exactly.
but yeah, no, it is. I think it's very important to be able to let your guard down a little bit. And so,
Mhm.
what I like to, the way I'm approachable anyway, like I just have that, that roundway girl vibe with people. And because I'm like, I for real just want to hear your story. I like whatever you want to tell me, sure, I'm here to listen. And that's what a lot of people want. They just want somebody to
To
listen.
listen. Yeah,
They just want somebody to listen. They
absolutely.
want to be able to cry. They want to talk. You know what I mean? They want to be able to do those things. And so, especially like physicians, and, they may feel like they can't, as you were saying, because they have to have this certain kind of, rapport about them because they're a physician, that we should have it all together. It's like, no, I just practice it. But I'm actually just a regular human being. I'm super regular.
I'm super regular. I've told so many people that it's just like, I shit and wipe my ass and put my pants on like
Exactly.
one leg at a time, just like you did today,
Just
right?
like you, just
Yeah,
like you. So
yeah,
yeah, I think when people feel safe, people feel
yes,
safe. And that is one of my biggest like pats on my back for myself, because I do. I allow my clients to just be themselves. I allow them to feel like I'm, one of the homegirls. If you need me for something, hey, you got my phone number, or if you need this and that. Of course, there's boundaries, yes, but I think that just goes across the board.
yeah,
But yeah, I think that's one of my strengths, is
yeah.
that I make my clients feel, wanted and seen. I make them feel seen and heard.
Mhm. Yeah.
Um, I think that's one of my biggest strengths for
I
sure.
agree. I would 100% agree with that because it is so natural. Like even when we, like you said before, you like to have calls with your clients first before you jump into the shoot. It's not just okay, we're planning the day
Yeah.
and you need what. It's just like no, let me actually get there and see what you're trying to get to. You do have this art, this just innate knowing of just how to make people feel safe and feel comfortable and just feel like whatever goes. If it doesn't work, okay, whatever. That's fine. We tried. It doesn't matter. Just
Hmm.
you create an environment of safety and security that people can feel open to
Oh,
being
thank,
themselves.
thank you,
Like I
Dr.
said, because
Brown. I
I've
really appreciate
personally
that.
experienced it with you multiple times, but I hope and I know this is translating through the podcast as well too. So if you guys are looking for a photographer, I'm telling you, call Erica, pay her whatever she's charging you, fly her wherever you need her to go because it will be an amazing experience.
Oh,
My
thank
last question, because like I
you.
said, we can talk forever. I didn't realize we've been talking for like an hour already.
Wow. Oh my goodness. Wow.
um, is for the doctor that is out there listening to our conversation,
Yeah.
who is maybe new to entrepreneurship or thinking about pivoting and starting their own business, what is your best piece of advice for them? And you can take it from just a general entrepreneurship standpoint, you could talk about it from a visual storytelling and branding standpoint, however you want to take it. But what is your best piece of advice for them to make sure that they are successful on this
Hmm.
journey?
Um, Again, my go-to is, consult God first, talk it out, talk it through. But for those who do not believe, um, I think my advice would be to really study what it is that you're trying to get into. Really know what space that you're trying to get into before you dive headfirst into it. Make sure that there's enough water to dive into and not a shallow pond, knock your head off, right? So, yeah, I think that's really important, to just really, really know what it is that you're getting into before you just cut off all ties and then I'm just going straight into this. Like you need to study up, you need to read up. I Audible is fantastic. It is, and there's so many books out there that you can listen um, to really understand what it is that you're getting into. Because, like I said, it is a lot. It wasn't anything that I was trying to do for myself, but now that I'm in it, oh my goodness. So I had my phone on like work so that calls wouldn't come through, but they're
Mm-hmm.
coming through. Apple, pull it together. Pull it together. Um, but yeah, find get your numbers going. Find somebody, get some tidbit advice from somebody in that industry. Latch on to somebody and see how they navigate it. Don't be afraid. You don't have to be in this thing by yourself, not even a little bit.
Yeah.
And so don't ever feel like you have to, like, you just going in totally blind. You don't
Yeah.
have to. There's too much out here for you to go in totally blind.
I love that. And I love the
Hmm.
fact that underlying what I hear you saying is yes, you can learn, but then apply. Like go do the things that you are learning. Don't just sit there and just be like,
Don't
oh,
just
I'm
sit.
reading about business. I'm reading about
Right.
this. Go do the thing that you are
Do
learning.
it.
See what happens in the real world.
Giving yourself, again, like I write down everything. I write everything down. I just like, I don't know, the feeling of writing something down and then being able to cross it off or put the check mark once it's done. It's something about that. But um, yeah, applying it. So take what you've learned, and you don't have to do everything. Give yourself grace. Don't put so much pressure on yourself, um, to get everything right. As you were telling me with the podcast, like, girl, just start it. Um, but
Yeah.
you're right. It's the execution because you can sit on all the knowledge, but if you don't execute it, it's like, what are we doing here? What's it for? So, mhm, I think that would be my biggest piece.
Okay.
Learn, learn what you're doing, and execute what you've learned.
Right. And then do what you're doing. Exactly.
And do it. Actually do it. And I don't know, just give yourself all the grace in the world because everybody's entrepreneurial journey is different.
Yeah.
It looks totally different. So give yourself grace and space to learn who you are and who you want to become in this new space, in this entrepreneurial space. And you'll figure it out and remain true to yourself.
Yeah.
Remain true to yourself.
I love
As
it.
cliche as that sounds, but it's true. It's so true. It's so
I
true.
absolutely love it. Erica Simmons, visual storytelling strategist extraordinaire, the only one I know. Georgia Peach, mother, serial entrepreneur, all of the woman of God, of course, too.
Come on. Come on,
Thank you
man.
so much for blessing the Docs Get Money podcast. Like I said, this was a no duh for me. Like you should have been on like episode like 3 or 4 or something like that. But everything is happening in perfect timing. Erica, thank you so much for
Always.
your time. Thank you so much for your energy. I will drop your contact links below, but please let the audience know where they can find you on the internet.
Yes. Okay. So you can find me on Instagram at Erica J Simmons. It's Erica with a C. Erica J Simmons. And you can hit up my website at ericajsimmons.com. Shoot me an email if you want to, saying what's up at Erica at ericajsimmons.com. I'm not on X. I'm not on Facebook. I think my Instagram automatically is the Facebook. I probably could
Okay.
even log into my Facebook by myself. I don't know where that, but you can find me on Instagram or just give me a personal shot email or whatnot. But yeah, you can find me there.
I love it.
Thank
Thank
you
you
so
again.
much. This was so wonderful. Blessings to you, to your family, to this podcast. What a wonderful space for your upcoming physicians who are trying to turn the page, if that's
Yes.
what they choose to do, or just trying to pivot. So blessings upon your audience as well. And thank y'all for tuning in to this lovely, lovely space with the one and only Dr. Kimberly Brown.
Come on,
I
giving me an
appreciate you.
outro. I'm trying
Oh,
to
yes.
outro you. You outroing me.
You're wonderful. I love you.
Thank you.
I
Thank you
love you
so
too.
much. Thank you.
Thank you for listening to the Docs Get Money podcast. New episodes drop every Thursday wherever you find your favorite podcast. Share, comment, follow, and subscribe to the Docs Get Money podcast wherever you get your podcasts. And if you want to know more, visit me, Dr. Kimberly Brown, at KimberlyBrownMD.com, and be sure to follow me at Dr. Kimberly B on Instagram. And until next time, let's go get this money, honey.